Well, all right. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I do 4 good mornings. I didn't realize that.
Okay, that's quite the observation.
Yeah. Paul B4.
Okay.
Buddy the God.
Hey. Hey, Paul.
Yo.
I just realized something, man.
What's up?
Buddy got a 3 in it, right?
Yep.
Paul got a 4 in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's 3 plus 4?
7. People in the sevens in the house going down. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us Friday, November 11th, 2022. Let's groove a little bit. We got our first good morning from Wanda Lewis. Good morning to you. Appreciate you, Wanda Lewis. You always are on the chat with us.
Man.
And you get up early with us every time, just like we do. So we appreciate you.
Man.
Pops gave me a call last night, said he has some appointments this morning, so he won't be on. I like how he's giving me the heads up.
Yeah.
Let the First Guy Omaha family knows he loves them. And we'll see you Monday. What's up? Shout out to the 6:30 crew. Let me know how the mix was this morning. Appreciate you tuning in. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Hit the listen button. Celebration of black music.
Celebration.
Yep.
Man, you see Dave is hosting SNL this weekend?
Yeah, and Black Stars
Black
performance.
Star? All right. No more Blue No Love.
We are forever connected to that man after that Blue Note trip. That's real.
Man.
Good morning, Carolyn Jack. Gives us a good morning. Good morning to you. That's what's up. Purple fam in the house.
Hey.
That's that look. This show. This is inspired by Prince right here. Good morning, Kimber Snipes. Good morning, y'all. Thanks for joining us over there on YouTube. Appreciate you very, very much. Mark Manor says, good morning. No good new releases to listen to this Music Friday. So it's First Sky Friday. Nice.
Hey.
Appreciate that. Man, I'd like to start incorporating your new releases, man. You know, we should collab on that. Call them out. Let people see what you're looking at, what you're listening to. They can dig it too. Got to get this record collection up in this group on the real.
That was
down. Yep. Linda Chicago says, happy Friday, freezing cold, and I'm not ready for it, bro. My heat kicked on, so you might hear the heat this morning. It kicked on so hard it startled me. I was like, man, it went into overdrive.
Coming in hot.
It's super hot. And we're coming in hot today too on this Friday, November 11th, 2022. Thanks for joining us. A fresh edition, Friday edition, a Haps edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul Beeee Buddi3 Da Gawd, the new NWA news gang with attitude. It's going down. Man. Hey, Mark Mander said he's down. All right, cool. Yeah, let's do it. Also, Kimber Snipe says I miss my FB chat friends.
Hey.
Yeah, what's up? You on YouTube now? You don't get on FB anymore, but we'll read them off. You know how we do.
Yeah.
Kimber says, good morning. Linda, cold in the mug here too. Yes. It's well, Linda says she in Chicago, but
she not
taking the phone. She ain't in Chicago. She
don't fall for the okie doke, Kimber. Yeah, I was gonna say got some funky stuff going on with the cam over there.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because we use all new technology, so now we're getting into the the technology like a year and a half later. We're like, okay, we're seeing what elements are breaking down. It's like a test as we go, you know. So, she says y'all can't see me on FB for some reason. Yeah, we've been missing some of those. You talk to Erica Felt because she figured out whatever the combination was. For a while, she couldn't do it either. We couldn't see her either, and she figured out that you had to go in by your personal name, or if you went in through I can't remember. You got to talk to her. But there is a way that you can get on Facebook in order for your stuff to be seen everywhere, like I said, talk to her. But I appreciate you being over there on YouTube. Really appreciate that very much. And if you're on YouTube, I don't know if you saw yesterday, but Mayor Sanchez showed us how to share. He did a whole little tutorial on how to share the YouTube
Man,
channel. Right. If you're over there, check that out and share it for us. And if you're on Facebook, you know it's pretty easy to share to your page. So please do so we can get as many people in the room as possible. We really, really appreciate that. So thank you very much for joining us once again on this Friday. I don't see my Friday people yet. Everybody who's all happy about it being Friday. We'll see. We'll see what's
yeah,
going on there. I will jump over to Friends of First Sky real quick and just to see if we're missing some stuff over there. But thanks for everybody. Oh, she said yes. I'm in Omaha. Can't change my handle. And yes, support Homer's. Every visit is a treasure hunt. Over 50 years. Yeah, man. Homer's
man.
is the spot, bro.
Oh yeah,
Homer's is the spot. It's been the spot for a long, long time. Thanks to the dedication of Mr. Mark Manor, as far as I'm concerned. Uh, the reason, one of my friends that I get inspired to continue a thing like we do here at First Sky Omaha because I see this cat going in for some decades on it.
man.
So yeah, man, I
Let me
get
tell you
antsy. Huh?
I just want to tell my Homer story, man.
Yeah,
Shout out to my man Marcy Yates, who actually Marcy is the one who taught me how to sample.
nice.
And the first place he took me, I mean, I had already been there, but the first place we went was Homer's to dig for some vinyl to go ahead and chop up, man. So
Right.
shout out to Homer, shout out to Marcy Yates, definitely a staple in the community.
Yeah, man, that's what's up. Little crate digging over
Oh
there.
yeah,
A young cat just asked me about what do I need to buy to to start DJing and stuff, and I said get you some turntables, man. Like the anomaly nowadays is the cats that still mix on turntables, and that means you can mix regular records, but you can also get the Serato and kind of mix in your,
hmm
your your playlist off your computer too. But if you got hands on the wheels of steel, then you can charge the big bucks now because your a turntable DJ gets more in certain areas than other ones do. Now you got to learn the electronic stuff now for some of that EDM house music and
hmm
everything else that's out there. But, as far as black music is concerned, if you got your hands on some wheels of steel, then you're top notch, top dollar DJ.
There you
So,
go.
Linda in Chicago says, "Mark is a music encyclopedia." He sure is.
Okay,
Wanda Lewis says, "Cold weather has everyone lagging this morning."
man, man, it's
Yeah.
actually been raining out here for like the last 2 days.
Has it? Is it
Yeah,
is it
yeah,
is it
yeah.
cold rain, though? Is it cold rain or is it, like,
No, yeah, it's like cold rain.
cold rain?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it gets cool. It actually snows down here, so I mean, but it ain't, it ain't that Omaha thing.
It ain't no almost snow.
No, no,
It ain't Snowmaha in the black.
no, no, no.
Rome's review says, "Sorry I'm late. I was up celebrating my Marine Corps birthday." Okay.
Okay,
Hoorah,
hoorah!
hoorah. All right, brother. That's what's up. Appreciate you getting up early after your celebration and joining us here. This is going to be a pretty good show. We're still kind of winding down from the election. Still
Yeah,
some things to talk about because now that this election's done. Of course, there's another one in 2 years that everybody's already winding up for because it's another big one.
yeah. I think don't campaign like the next campaign season starting like 6 months or something, 6, 7 months.
Yeah, well, yeah, like I said, they're doing a lot of underground work right now on that
Right, right,
because
right.
Trump
Well,
Trump, Trump is teasing that he's going to run.
yeah. I mean, we've been talking about the chess game and the Trump effect, as I like to call it. So
Yeah,
yeah, definitely keeping our eyes on that, and still from the election we just had, results still rolling in too. So
right.
yeah, definitely going to talk about all of that. But also, as I mentioned on Wednesday, season 4 still following the bag, and that's another thing. Now that we got the vote, still hook up with cameras, still get your civic engagement plan together. But without money, you see, if we don't have the finances to support the candidates that we want to win, then it's for naught. So definitely we're going to continue following the bag for the rest of this season and into next season as well.
There you go. That's what's up. Gotta jump back into the chat real quick. Wanda Lewis is asking, "Where's Pops?" Pops actually called me last night and said he had a appointment that he's going to get on this morning, so he wouldn't be on, but to give the fam love. So shout out to Pops
From
handling
Vegas
his
with love.
business. Yeah, man, that's one thing I got to say. I come from a family of black men that will go to the doctor as soon as you is anything. Go, well, I got a headache. I better make a doctor's appointment.
Mm.
We go to the to the doc. So I'm glad he's up there, and every time he comes back with a glowing report. His health is doing well, so I really appreciate that he keeps up with it that way. He inspires me to do it because I forget sometime to
Man,
handle my business. So yeah, he's at an appointment, but he'll be back in full force on Monday. He said shout out to everybody who joins us today. Gwen Easter says good morning, happy Veterans Day. We salute all the veterans.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is that today?
That is today. Yeah, Veterans
Okay,
Day is
okay,
today.
man. Happy Veterans Day. My mom, stepdad, and my pops, Papa God, both served, man. So shout out to all the veterans out there. Shout out to all the service people.
There you go. Okay,
And yeah. My cousin Sandy. Yeah, shout out to everybody that served.
that's what's up. Brooke got Brooke gives us a good morning. Me and Brooke and Lil Man went to go see Wakanda Forever last night, and
Man,
lots to say about this.
I saw your
So,
pictures.
well,
Empty theater.
yeah, I mean, that's one of the things, man. How is like my sister says, how is this theater still in business? Every time we come here, ain't nobody here. And last night there was absolutely nobody there. To the point where when little man started getting bored with the movie, he was like, I think I'm gonna just go walk down here and just practice my kung fu moves. And he just walk on down the stairs, walk on in front of the screen, and just
Oh man, in the Black Panther mask.
no, he should have put his mask on when he went down there. But yeah, yeah, man. But it was so the movie was long and drawn. The movie was 3 hours long. It was
Mm,
really not. It's really not for kids. It's very emotional, very conversational. There's some crazy action sequences, of course, but for the most part, it was a tribute to Chadwick Boseman.
man,
Very, very kind of sad memorial
man.
style.
Rest in peace.
I mean, a lot to be said about it. I ain't gonna spend the whole morning talking about it, but it was interesting. Like I said, it sums it up in that we were in there 15 minutes into the movie. Little man was hour later after all the dialogue. He's looking. He went to the bathroom about five. I gotta go to the bathroom again about 5 6 times.
Mm.
And then finally he just gave up. He was just like, you know what? I was gonna go practice my kung fu moves. I'll be back. You know.
This ain't it, boss. This ain't it.
So lots to be said about it, man. The grandeur of the first movie is definitely a one time affair. But I'll actually hold back what I want to say about it until I think about it more. Because the more I think about it, it changes up, and I
Okay.
probably will see it again, and then I'll have an opinion. But it did get released last night,
Mm.
and one of the things to say about it is that it seemed like nobody knew it got released. Like the rollout was even different this time. So
Oh yeah, the impact. I mean, the first one, if you remember, I think it was Saudi Arabia lifted like a 50-year theater ban just so people can go see the first Black Panther. Like it was definitely a difference in the rollout and impact and energy surrounding it. But
yeah,
actually, I'm supposed to go on like a group trip to go see that. So please don't spoil
oh
it. Please don't spoil
yeah, no spoilers here. I appreciate you joining us. While Erica Fell says, "Good morning. About to drive the boogie to school and feeling deluxe and thankful for heated seats and
it.
listening in the car." Yeah,
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
that's what's up. Wanda Lewis says, 19 degrees in Omaha feels like 9 this morning, bro.
Mm,
I
man,
woke
keep it
up.
warm out there, y'all.
I woke up swinging at the pillow like, who stole the covers? Oh no,
Mm.
it's no, it ain't nobody but me in the bed. Who stole the covers?
Uh,
Yeah, it's
oh
cold.
man. Now, I do want to acknowledge some. Mayor Sanchez said Rome's review back in 1972 to 91. I was drinking all that Camp Lejeune water. Mm. Yeah, I had a cousin out there in Camp Lejeune as well, man.
Wow.
Yeah, y'all be safe. Y'all be safe,
Well, that's what's up, brother Ron. Your story deepens. Mira Sanchez, I learn more about you all the time. Appreciate you,
man.
and appreciate all the work that you did too, and everything, man. I saw your post the other day about you being sober for some years now too. So, like,
Okay,
man, we're all works in progress, and we all get better and better, man. That's what's up.
it's all about progression. That's my life mantra. It's all about progression.
Love it, love it. Let's talk about a little bit what we're going to talk about today and jump into it.
Yeah. Actually, a lot to talk about. No guests today, but plenty of news stories. Shout out to a few chat chimers dropping some bombshells on us last couple days. We definitely have to talk about it. But man, what's kind of really got me excited. I guess I don't even know if excited is worth it, but we got to talk about this child situation, man. First Sky Omaha loves the kids.
Mm.
And there's some egregious things going on in the state of Nebraska. Apparently, the U.S. Department of Labor is accusing a Nebraska meatpacking company of oppressive child labor violations. We're definitely going to talk about that and their response. Apparently, there has been a restraining order, some intimidation, and things like that. Yeah. We definitely have to talk about that. Also, speaking of intimidation, apparently, there's an Omaha police officer on vacation after harassing one of our sisters.
On vacation.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna call it. That's what it is.
Paid leave is vacation, baby.
Man, he's on vacation. So yeah, we definitely have to talk about that. Is this the golden standard of policing that Todd Schmatter and everyone's talking about? Is that it?
Just trash.
So, man, we definitely have to talk about that. But also, as I mentioned, season 4 is about following the bag and a lot of money coming into the community. Actually, shout out to the Urban League, who just got a nice lump sum, $2.9 million from a billionaire philanthropist, a Robin Hood, if you will. So we'll definitely talk about that. Also, $130 million coming from Nebraska families. Actually, the temporary assistance in needy families federal block grants again has left over $131 million. And shout out actually to our partner, the Reader, and the Princess Leia Cates, who actually wrote extensively about the temporary assistance for needy families program and why some of that money has not been spent or sent to the families who actually need it. So we're going to talk about that and what's actually happening with this $131 million. And then, of course, we still have a few election outcomes to go over. So we'll dive into that as well. But again, if there's anything on your hearts, your minds that we're not discussing, feel free to drop that into the chat. Let us know. Let your mind be free. And most importantly, let your voice be heard. With that, let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Paul B, PB4, Buddy the Gawd, Buddy3, 7's in the building. First Sky Omaha. Let's go.
Hey. What up? Good morning. Thanks for joining us. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddy the God, all of you, the chat chimers, all of you, the ghost listeners, thank you very, very much for joining us. If you're on Facebook, please do us a favor and share the show. If you're on YouTube, do us a favor and share the show as well. If you know how to do that, also give us a like, subscribe, and bang on the dilly.
Hey, on the running kind.
Yeah, on the running kind. It's going down. You listen to a very special, a good edition, a very specially good edition of First Sky Omaha. I don't know where those words came from, but
because it's Friday.
It's Friday because it is Friday. That's what it is. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you guys. I know it's cold outside. It's gonna be cold tonight. There is a performance over at the Benson Theater later tonight where I will be playing the drums.
Okay.
Yeah, so the return of Paul B on the drums with the funk band. It's going down tonight at the Benson Theater. So there'll be more to come. I don't know if people don't want to come out in this cold weather. I totally understand that. But we'll talk about it more because this is the Haps Friday, and we'll definitely have some Haps a little later on in the show.
Yes,
Get
sir.
your Haps ready and together as well. Let us know what's going on this weekend. And let us know what you've been doing. Did you go to any of the election parties? Let us know about any of those things. What's been going on around town? Any good meetings? Any good things we need to be keeping our eyes on? So get your haps together, ready for that for later on in the show. We'll talk about that extensively. And also, Erica Felgen says Happy Veterans Day again. So
Yes.
Happy Veterans Day. Yep, it is Veterans Day on a Friday, and I wonder if anybody has that off. Do veterans get off on Veterans Day, or is it like a holiday that you can take off of regular city jobs and stuff?
It's a good
I don't know
question.
much about it. I don't know much about it. Stacy Jean says, "Good morning, First Sky Omaha family and friends. Appreciate you very much." Wanda Lewis says, "Go live on the beats." What's that?
What you mean by that? You want to see us cook up? Is that what you're saying?
Go live on the beats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please clarify.
Yep, yep. In the meantime, between time, thanks for joining us again. It is 7:20 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, that's some very, very interesting stories. Like Buddy said a little earlier, the chat chimers chiming up on friends of First Sky Omaha dropped some doozies on us,
Man.
and very, very interesting stuff. And so let's go ahead and jump into one, and we'll talk about it. Oh, she says all the state offices are closed.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
a
it is.
federal holiday.
There you go. So all state offices are closed today for Veterans Day. And, there you go. Oh, she says on the drums, okay.
Okay.
Go live on the beats. Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I'm gonna get busy with it. I'm gonna get busy with it. For sure. They even gave me a microphone. I might sing a singer song or 2.
Okay.
We'll see what's happening.
Get your Anderson Paak on.
Man, he I was doing it before. I was doing it when Anderson was 5 years old. I was
Oh, you said
demonstrating
Anderson getting his Paul B on. Is that what
Paul beat on, that's right. Nobody singing and playing until Paul beat. Nah, I'm just playing. And I got my style because because Buddy Miles
All
was
right, all
the
right.
original singer, drummer cat from Omaha, Nebraska. So you got to
Play
do
with
that
it.
tradition.
Play with it. Play
Hey,
with
that's
it.
yeah, dude. That's what's up, man. Rich musical history here in Omaha, Nebraska for sure. I'm happy to get back to being a part of it in a real way. So we'll talk about it later. Haps. In the meantime, between time, Buddy, what's up?
Okay. Let me stop smiling because we got some things to talk about, man. Again, First Guy Omaha loves the kids. So anytime anything is happening, man, we got to speak up.
Mm,
And I'll start off with an update, actually, of a story that we've been paying close attention to for several years, talking about the handling of Nebraska's foster care system, child welfare cases. Of course, the whole St. Francis Ministries debacle. Now that that's over, technically, again, that contract has officially ended, and Nebraska has taken over those contracts. But what is that looking like? Apparently, things are getting worse. Nebraska ended a contract for managing Omaha area child welfare cases with, of course, the Kansas-based contractor who continued to fail to meet the state caseload limits. But the state isn't doing too much better. Workers report regularly being assigned to more than 30 cases. Keep in mind, the limit is 17. And actually, in some instances, caseworkers are having caseloads as high as 38 or 39 cases. And to put that into perspective, again, these are 38 or 39 children or families that these people have to be responsible for to make sure that they have what they need, that they're safe. And that's just too much for one person to actually put in any effort to make sure that that job is done. Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services figures show that barely 1 in 3 Omaha child welfare workers handling ongoing cases in September had caseloads at or below the limits set in state law, while more than 80% of those in most areas of the state complied with the limit. So again, the Omaha area situation is particularly dire. State accounting records show that overtime for child welfare workers in the 2 county service areas shot up more than 90% at the beginning of the year when the cases started being transferred to Health and Human Services. And as of September, overtime costs equaled 7.4% of the salary in the area. So not only are these workers having a lot of cases on their desk, but they're also working an extended amount of hours on top of that, which further declines the quality of service that these families and these children are getting. So it's not looking good. And again, 2 workers who actually quit in recent months said raising caseloads are adding to the pressures of an already stressful job. So just the job itself is stressful, not including everything I just mentioned, forcing case managers to work more overtime. They said workers can do little more than the bare minimum for children and families, and they say no relief is coming.
mm,
Actually, if you remember, some of the case workers that try to protest for the St. Francis situation had quit or actually were fired.
right.
Yeah. Excuse me. And also, all the St. Francis cases have been transferred to Health and Human Services. And for the last 3 months of 2021, the state had no new cases to St. Francis in an effort to help the agency catch up on existing ones. And apparently, that did not help. However, it is being reported that the state is investing and trying to do something about that. The State Department of Health and Human Services is apparently investing $66 million into child care workforce networks. The department said it wants to reward child care workers, help them pay off student loan debt, and expand access to child care services. So they're trying to respond, but again, it's not looking well. I know we have a few child care providers in our chat, so definitely would love to hear from you. Have you heard about this? What are your take on that? Again, the Department of Health and Human Services plans to make workforce stipends and loan repayment funds available to these workers. People who are child care providers or an employee of one can apply starting this December. So yeah, definitely a lot of things happening with the child care, child welfare in the state of Nebraska. Is it enough? Again, I know Gwen Easter is very vocal about some of the things happening with child care in the state. So again, I would love to hear from the likes of you, Miss Erica Felt, and others.
Well, as a matter of fact, Gwen Easter in the chat right now says the young lady and her family are friends of mine and doesn't deserve to be harassed by someone who is supposed to protect and serve the community. She is a beautiful, smart young businesswoman in North Omaha. I'm irritated that he is harassing her and is being paid to sit at home. He needs to be fired. Who
Mm.
who is the he and the who are the people that you're
She's
talking?
she's talking about this police officer who's harassing this young
That
lady.
police officer?
Yeah. We'll talk about that here in a second. But
Oh,
thank you for that comment.
yep, yep. Absolutely. We need to protect all our young children for sure. You got that right. Also, Cheryl Weston is coming in talking about the Urban League 2 million. Yep, we'll definitely be talking about that. That's in our headlines. So appreciate you coming on in and commenting on that. She says, but who will be following the money? That's what I would like to know.
That part.
Now that the Urban League has gotten some money, which is a story in itself. What will happen with that money is the question too. So we'll definitely jump back to that and talk about that in a minute. Ty Williams gives us a good morning. Erica Felt says the announcement is vague. The information hearings start on the 14th, and we'll know for sure what monies will be and for who.
Okay. Okay. Again, talking about these stipends and things like that. Okay, on the 14th. Hmm.
So that's what 3 days from now.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious. Who do you feel confident that you might get it, Miss Erica Felt, Miss Gwen Easter? Do you feel like that is something that you could get, or it's kind of jumping out to me on what she's saying, like to see for sure who the monies will be for and who.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
kind of.
mean, it is kind of vague. I agree that it feels like I don't have like it doesn't. It's not clicking to me what's actually happening with it really all the way.
Hmm.
Um, Kimberly Snipes says, let's over here on YouTube. She says, let's get a team of folks to follow the money, show up at these meetings and ask, write their boards and demand transparency. That's a good idea. She says, Ms. Rickenfeld says, please follow at the Nebraska provider spot for updates and info.
Okay, is that on Facebook?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
The Nebraska provider spot. Okay.
The Nebraska provider spot for updates and info. Okay, yeah, we'll definitely check it out. Wanda Lewis says, as far as DHHS, how much of those funds will be going towards the mental health facilities?
Man, I'm asking some questions and trying to dig more into that. What's going on with all these beds and mental health facilities and who's running it? Where's the money coming from?
Right.
When is this stuff opening? Mama Guy's been pretty uh persistent in asking me about it because it's happening right in our neighborhood, just blocks away from the house that I grew up in. So yeah, definitely the good question. Would love to look more into that. Is that where some of the funds are going to? We don't know, but we'll definitely continue to work to find out alongside with some of our partners at Flatwater Free Press, the Reader, and the like.
Yeah, yeah.
On this regard, there is a comment from Children and Family Services Director Stephanie Beasley, who said in a statement, the lack of quality child care options nationwide has been continuing barrier, forcing families to make difficult decisions, such as leaving the workforce. The investment into Nebraska's critical workforce will help boost child care options for working families and support professionals doing this important work. So, yeah, if you do get something like this, do you feel like this is something that will help, again, something that help pay for loan repayment funds, workforce, or excuse me, student loan debt, expand access to childcare services and things like that? Will this help? And then also, does anyone have any more information on what's going on and ideas on how Health and Human Services should address this child welfare situation, because and again, it's not looking good, and it does not look like it will be getting any better. There's one comment in the article that says we're 100 times worse off than we were a year ago with St. Francis Ministry. So
Wow.
again, definitely a issue that we're going to have to continue keeping our eyes on, because these are real lives. These are real children whose lives are being impacted.
Mr. Eric Feld says it's my resource support group that I've held since 2014 for in-home childcare business owner. Is our public page.
Okay.
Did not know you had a public page for that. Nebraska provider spot, the Nebraska provider spot. Okay, cool. We'll definitely look into your page there and promote that. And because I was just getting ready to suggest somebody put a page together that
There
that
you go.
keep their eye on this stuff. And also my other suggestion is let's talk to Abby Kretz over there at the documenters program. This seems like something that maybe one of the documenters could be keeping track of whenever they make announcements like this about where some money's going to go. Keep track of the announcements and things that are happening on that level too. So we'll see. Linda in Chicago over on YouTube says St. Francis is another Ricketts failure. He knew it was awful and still rewarded the Kansas company by extending their contract and giving them more money and more and other things that Ricketts was involved in when it comes to this case for sure. Kimmer Snipes on YouTube says we need to talk to Abby and see what's up with documenters. Yep, I agree. When do they start? A lot of these elected officials sit on subcommittees. What's happening in those meetings too? Good question.
Yep.
Documenters have started for sure. We talked to Deshaun Cunningham the other day, who's a part of the documenters program now, and so yeah, it's going. As a matter of fact, I gotta talk with Abby coming up here pretty soon. I think they're already doing note school, so how to take notes. So it sounds like they got a group together and they're going for it. I've been really busy, so it's been hard for me to keep up with what's going on. But we're supposed to meet up and talk soon, so I would definitely. And my mind is going there all the time now too, man. This would be great for documenters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
We're gonna drop a link in the chat pretty soon, because there are a few reports, not only Deshaun, but also Vince Furlong and Angela Gahan, who have filled out some reports on a few meetings, development, politics, transportation. So definitely go in and check that out, and then also just explore through documenters. It's a pretty good website, pretty good program throughout the country.
for sure. Yep. So yeah, we'll keep you updated on all that stuff for sure. And I love the fact that there's some mechanisms here to keep our eye on some of these things, because I know like Buddy said, like we say all the time, we have childcare providers that are chat chimers that are friends of First Sky Omaha. It's been on our radar in a big way for different reasons because of that, but mostly because we're developing friendships with you all in the chat who work in this industry, and my eyes have been open to a lot of the things that you guys have taught me about what's going on in this industry and how important it is. And then Buddy, of course, has kids and had to go through finding childcare and
Man,
the whole process from
still
that side
going
of
through it.
things. Right.
Still
Still
going
going.
through it.
Mr. Rickenfeld says the link to sign up for listening hearings was posted on Nebraska Provider Spot yesterday, open to the public. Man,
Nice.
how you gonna not tell us that you got a page? We're gonna look at the page and report from it too.
Come
So
on.
yeah, I'm glad that you got one. So we'll definitely check your page out and talk about that. I'm glad that you're also linking things there too, especially on this subject. So that's what's up. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
7:33 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we're still talking about the children, I believe.
Oh yeah, it's a lot. It's actually it's a child day. It's a lot to talk about. And we're actually continuing. There's another story coming out for Health and Human Services, talking about following the money, and it's very interesting. Again, just some of the shortcomings, and there's this whole pot of money that isn't being used. Again, a state fund holding intended. It's not being used, but intended to help Nebraska families in poverty, has topped 131 million this year, despite past claims by state officials that they had plans to use the money. Again, Stephanie Beasley, Director of Child and Family Services with DHHS, said the money represents the accumulation of unused portions of temporary assistance for needy families, also known as TANF, federal block grants. The block grants provide public assistance to families and help pay for a number of programs. Beasley revealed on October 1st that the reserve totaled at a legislative hearing Friday, prompting frustration from actually a pair of Omaha lawmakers. One being Michaela Cavanaugh, put some respect on her name, who's actually the one who broke news about the St. Francis Ministries situation, and she is not going away, still fighting for the children, saying we have people who are hurting in our communities across the state, and we're sitting on 130 million, and that does not sit okay with me. We are in a crisis. She said Health and Human Services officials have told the committee several times before that they have a plan for using the funds to help children and families. Yet every time they come back, the reserve fund has grown instead. So again, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. They're just sitting on the pot, and families are still struggling. Senator John Arch, who's the committee chair, expressed similar concerns. Actually, he said the issue has been ongoing despite the department's past promises and lawmakers questioning. He went on to say, we just see an opportunity here. We see that those dollars well used and within the federal guidance, we have some opportunity to improve services and create some innovative services. So far, Beasley says that the group has identified family support coaching, emergency housing stability, and kinship childcare assistance as priorities. The work group is expected to make its initial report in a couple of months. So this is yet another bag that we have to keep our eyes on. And again, big shout out. I urge people to go and read the article from The Reader from Leah Cates about temporary assistance for needy families and how that's being used and some of the reasons why families aren't getting that assistance, some of the red tape that they have to go through, some of the hurdles that they have to go over just to get assistance that the money is supposed to be used for. So there you go.
And I remember us, but we talked before about Pete Ricketts turning down some money because he was like, "Well, there's already some money in the pot, so why, and turned down some extra assistance because of that." Miss Erica felt in the chat. First of all, she says, "I've been told you," so I probably forgot about your page.
I do remember her mentioning it. I do.
Wouldn't put it past me. Erica Fell says single mothers of one child get $408 a month if they qualify. This is gross AF.
So that's not even, man, a month. That's barely groceries. That's barely groceries.
Especially now, especially with how much
Man,
groceries are.
man.
Wanda Lewis said Nebraska vowed to hire some of the St. Francis workers. What's their position on that? Ooh, yeah, we don't know about that. Don't know if they actually followed through with that. That's interesting.
That is a good question because I do know the state took over all the contracts. So did they carry? Actually, yes. Again, my wife she used to work for Heartland Family Services when we lived in Omaha, which was a contracted. They were a organization contracted under St. Francis Ministries. And she did mention that some of the case were like some of the caseworkers stayed on their case throughout this transition. So I do believe that was the case.
I wonder how many did that though. I wonder how many they kept and retained.
Again, all of the cases were transferred. So
yeah. Whew, interesting, man. Miss Erica Fell says if you don't have Section 8, you're screwed. So it's really interesting that we have to always wonder like how anybody's making it, and that's the crazy part. That how many times? I mean, it boggles the brain sometimes because you're just like, how many creative situations that people have to come up with just to make it,
man.
And some people aren't. Some people just aren't, and there is supposed to be some assistance for the people that aren't and can't. And I will never forget Kim Reynolds over there in Iowa said our safety net is becoming a hammock, and it really portrayed exactly what her and her constituents over here in Nebraska, like Pete Ricketts, them really think.
Mm-hmm.
They think that people are just going to use city money and government money just not work and kick back like that's what people want to do. Like that's what people would do.
That was kind of his rationale for turning down that 100 or so million that he was saying, taxpayer was going to impact taxpayer dollars and things like that. And he was saying that we already had this reserve that people aren't using. So why do we need more money? Only to find out in this report that it's not the people not using it, it's the people not getting it because they aren't being given. It's not being given. It's not being used. And I want to put this into context because this is not anything that's recent or new. This is something that's been going on for many years. I mean, going back to 2014, there were concerns about how TANF was being used. Then State Auditor Mike Foley questioned the reserve, which was at 55.8 million back then. So it has only grown over the last couple of years. It has they haven't spent any of it, really, it seems like.
Yeah, and what I kind of makes me wonder, like, what their plan is, because they're gonna spend it on something.
Again, they keep saying they have a plan, but every time they come back to update the plan, the reserve only gets bigger.
Somebody's getting some of that money. I don't.
Maybe
Somebody.
maybe they're gonna build another prison. We'll
We in
see.
the era. We in the era of Brett Favre, bro. So somebody's getting
Mm.
somebody using that welfare money from some on something around here. You can't tell me. Good morning to Hood Table. She said, "Good morning, everyone. How you doing?" Hood Table goes live on Friday night, so definitely check Hood Table out tonight. What time you go on? 9 o'clock. I think it's 9. You go on pretty late, right? Let us know. Also, Linda in Chicago says again. Ricketts said we are no longer in a crisis. Yes, if I recall, we were the only state that declined the help.
Yep.
Can't even say he was waiting for an election because he's always heartless. Vote. Wilder Lewis says a lot of people probably don't want to go back to work because they might receive benefits that outweigh their salaries. I did. I hear about that too a lot. I hear like if you make over a certain amount of money that you can't get assistance, but that certain amount of money that you making is not enough. You still
Man,
need assistance with that.
poverty paradise. It's a trap.
They were talking about they were talking about. I remember a couple years ago they were complaining about Walmart employees that work full time at Walmart still on assistance
Mm-hmm.
because of the low pay. What happens to them people? Also, Mr. Rickenfeld says we need more SNAP than cash. What would you do? What would you not be able to get with $408 a month? What would you not be able to get? Um, we get more SNAP, not we need. Sorry, we get more SNAP than cash. Hmm.
Mm.
What would you not be able to get with $408 a month? Yeah, I don't
Why?
know. I mean, you're not paying no rent with that.
Man,
You're not paying any rent with that. So, and like you said, that's groceries these days.
barely, barely. I mean, I have 3 children. $408. That might last us 2 weeks
Yeah,
for groceries.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's a catch-22, man. Like we apply. There's a program here in Georgia, for child assistance that will pay, partial. I think partial, or in full if you qualify, but a partial amount of your child care. And apparently we make too much money for it, but don't make enough to actually afford it. So it's like, and I'm sure I'm not the only, we're not the only family caught in this conundrum. So it's like you said, how do you make it work?
Yeah. Rome's review says the AIM Institute was on the news last night about the tech that they're bringing to Omaha, hopefully to get those higher paying jobs so less assistance will be needed.
Hmm.
I'm glad you brought that up because we're definitely on the side of bringing industries into Omaha in order for people to have higher, a living wage and more,
Yeah. Yeah.
enough to be able to thrive.
Yeah.
And that be the answer for a lot because since that's so lacking, then how about we try that? How about we try that too?
And I've been kind of adamant about. I'm a believer. I'll say that the tech could be an out, man. You talk about all these Google coders, you know what I mean? People who going through these Google programs and getting these certificates and not going the college route, but actually taking the classes, getting the certificates, and making $80,000-$100,000 a year from these coding and tech jobs. And then I think you mentioned that there's the conversation around coding has tried to change to maybe stem people away from coding and to do more things that, you know, work under coding, like not necessarily the coding itself, but work under people who have the coding, kind of like a sharecropping situation, if you know what I mean. So yeah,
Mhm.
tech is where, yeah, you know what I mean. Tech is where it's at. And big shout out to the AIM Institute, who's actually already doing things in the community. If you remember, the AIM Institute was an organization that donated the building to Noise so they could do what they were doing. So yeah, shout out to the AIM Institute.
Also, conversations with Cheryl Weston. Cheryl Weston's in the chat. Thank you very much for coming. She says Mississippi, the poorest state, and Nebraska were the only two states that turned down the money. And then Kimber Snipes says, I think Mississippi ended up taking the money. So we're the,
Again,
we're the only state that turned down the money.
Mississippi was where the Brett Favre situation happened.
that we ain't talked about that Brett Favre situation yet, but that mess was crazy, and we will talk about it at some point. Also, Cheryl Weston says they spend it on jails, prisons. That's what I'm thinking. I'm
Yep.
thinking they holding the money so they can build another jail or a youth facility. There it is. That heat kicked on. It must be cold outside. That heat kicked on so strong. My heat turns on like, excuse me, it's cold in here.
I know you're live, but
Also, Cheryl Weston also has a great show on YouTube. I believe you're broadcast on YouTube, right? Definitely check out her show. Speaking some real talk, real truth, and all that good stuff. So definitely check out. Please give me some information on your channel as well. Your show, when you broadcast, where you broadcast, and the couple times that I was able to see it, I was like, yep. See, we see people. We on here talking. We on here saying some things, man. Really being able to talk about it. I saw one the other day with um, who was brother Womack, which is a family member of mine, was on,
mm,
and you guys were going in. So yeah, definitely check out her show. Please give us some information on that channel as well. Lots of good conversation happening there too. Miss Erica Fell says, "Who's going to trade 350 a week for 408 a month?" And furthermore, does 350 a week cut it?
no.
Right. She says nobody is turning down a job for TANF. Plus, they make you do job training and search.
Mm,
So, like you, Wanda Lewis says one of the first resources to go if you work is Medicaid.
man.
Yeah,
Then later on, she says Medicaid, food stamps, utility assistance, then housing.
and your salary is not covering that stuff. It's
No.
just not. So huge gap in between any of that, all of that. The government, the especially our local government is saying we can't have a situation here where we're filling that gap. That's basically what they're just like. Well, you're just kind of on your own, you know. Like we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do anything about raising wages or lowering inflation. So you just got a gap. We're not going to move this number, and you just got to figure it out. And of course, the resiliency of the black community, especially that figures out how to make it, that gets creative and figures out how to make it, really does change with every family I talk to. Like, there's
Mm,
no one solution. There's no you can't. It seems like it should be as simple as you can go get a decent paying job and pay what you need to pay,
nope.
but it's not that simple. And if you're in trouble, you should be able to have some resources. You should be able to have some assistance and help from the city, from the state, from the government, from people who you pay all these taxes to otherwise.
Man.
Seems like you should be able to get some help.
Man.
And that's just not what it is.
Excuse me. And I do want to add that some of the on top of that, some of the things that these employers are doing to not pay people and to not hire the right people and to not, I mean, we're going to dive into this whole U.S. Department of Labor investigation here in a second because this is directly connected, man. These companies, or some of these companies, I would say, rather oppress and hire children than hire family people. Actually hire adults and pay them a livable wage to provide for their children. They rather just hire the children and oppress them.
We got to talk about meatpacking industry. Ugliest industry I ever witnessed in my life.
Man,
Let's take a quick break and we'll come back. It is 7:48 right now, if you believe in the concept of time. Moving right along through this. Thank you for everybody who's chiming into the chat. So much good information here. As a matter of fact, I'll jump back. Linda Chicago says Jackson, Mississippi can't drink their water. Their governor Tater Tot doesn't care. Rick isn't doing anything about the water problems reported around Nebraska. He's dragging his feet.
yep.
Wanda Lewis says companies get tax credits if they hire somebody who's receiving government assistance. Doesn't mean they pay anything extra.
Mm,
They just take that loot. Woo!
Give me the loot. Give me the loot.
That's crazy. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Call Beeee Buddi3 Da Gawd. All of you chat chimers, those listeners, thanks for joining us. Share the show. We'll continue this conversation. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Don't you touch nothing, my baby babies. we got to come on back. They can't have all of that. We giving too much of that away right there. You're going to have Paul B putting a hot 16 on that beat right there, baby.
Hey.
You can't have it. We turn that off. You can't have no more of that.
It's too hot for TV.
Welcome back, First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Thank you so much for joining us, Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd here on the mics. All of you in the chat going down. Yeah, Brooke, no, you can't have it. You can't have it.
Yeah, that's a Buddi3 Da Gawd exclusive, man. I had to cook something up.
Yeah, he cooked it up for the show, but you need to cook it. You can go ahead and put it on the album, bro. Like,
I might be dropping a beat tape at the end of the year.
Well, look here. Don't put it on the beat tape either. It needs to go on.
You need some lyrics.
Need some lyrics. Write something to put on the album.
All right.
And with that says, I'm taking it out of rotation until you put it on the album.
Oh, dang! I was enjoying listening to it in the morning. I
want nobody jacking it. I want nobody jacking. We'll go on and make the thing first, and then then copyright. Get all your stuff together. We'll put it back on.
All right.
Yeah. That's my favorite Buddy beat right there for sure. Miss Erica Fell says I like that too. Yeah. Banging.
Thank you.
I said you're gonna be in here. I'm gonna be a hot 16 sucker MC.
Hey, OG still doing it, man. Played that new Snoop.
Yeah, dude. Oh,
yeah, Crip Your Enthusiasm. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys heard it. Snoop dropped the track. So dope,
man. In the metaverse, got Pac in the video.
Pac and Biggie on the videos. That's the beauty of the metaverse in the graphics.
Man.
Yeah, it's dope. In the meantime, between time, I didn't mean to go so off topic there, but thank you and welcome back. Again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, a Friday edition. This is the Haps edition as well. So get your Haps together. We'll have an extensive Haps a little later on. And speaking of beats and playing some music, I'll be on this show tonight.
Hey,
a funk review. It's going down. Paul B back on the drums, playing with a pretty funky funk band, man. And it's also a burlesque thing going on too that I'm kind of seeing what's going on with it during practice. So I don't know. We'll see how the show goes. But a lot of great performers in there, a lot of great singers in there. They ain't just burlesquing. They're also singing. It's interesting. It's an interesting vibe, and it's people of color that are doing this. Black folks running this show, and so yes, it should be fun. And the band is off the chain. There's a couple of cats. Some of the cats I played with. Some of the cats are new. But yeah, we're gonna get our funk on tonight at the Benson Theater a little later on. I believe it starts at 7. We'll talk more about it in the Haps, and get your Haps together as well. Let us know what's going on this weekend. See what's happening. For those of you that were asking about Pops, I got a couple more texts. Like, where is Pops? Pops had a appointment this morning. He gave me a call last night to let us know that he was going to do that. Wouldn't be on the show today. So but he said much love to the First Sky family. Send his love to the First Sky family. So that's where Pops is at, handling his business, and we'll see him. We'll see him Monday. So appreciate you. Appreciate everybody that's looking out for him. Jumping back into the chat, man. Kimra Snipes over on YouTube says, "I wonder what Heartland Workers Center is saying about the meatpacking industry thing. They focus on that industry a lot and workers' rights. I bet their ED would talk about it with you."
Okay.
I would love to bring them on, bro, because I'm so sickened by the meat packing industry. I don't know. It's like the grossest industry on so many levels.
Is that where White Shell works? White Shell Tarlin?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so Kimra says she serves on the board. Okay. Man, what board don't you serve on, Kimra? Dang. Dang.
All the boards.
Yeah, man, all of them. But yes. Please, if you can get us connected, I would love to talk about it. But let's go ahead and dive into the report to let the people know what's going on with that situation. If you are not familiar, it is pretty egregious. So we would definitely have to get to the bottom of it. But it looks like there's already an investigation that has launched. The U.S. Department of Labor is accusing a firm operating in Nebraska of oppressive child labor violations. The Labor Department asked a federal court Thursday for a temporary injunction against Packers Sanitation Services, which is a leading U.S. provider of food safety sanitation. That temporary injunction was granted in the U.S. District Court of Nebraska. The company offers cleaning services at meat processing plants in Worthington and Marshall, Minnesota, and Grand Island, Nebraska. According to the injunction, Packer Sanitation must cease and refrain from employing oppressive child labor, comply with the lawful demands, not destroy or dispose of information relevant to the investigation, nor discourage employees from cooperating with investigators, which some of that they have already violated. So we'll talk about that here in a second. But the complaint was prompted actually by an investigation from the Departments of Wage and Hour Division, finding that the company has placed at least 31 children between the ages of 13 and 17 in hazardous occupations, and at least 25 of that 31 was in Grand Island. So again, right up the road. About 25 minors between 13 and 17 forced to clean dangerous and powered equipment on overnight ships to fulfill contracts with JBS USA plants in Minnesota and Nebraska, and Turkey Valley Farms in Minnesota. And if you remember during COVID, shout out to Chris Bowling, who was very, very descriptive in his reporting of some of the conditions that these meatpacking plants just how they are, like blood soaked mask and just all types of things. It just did not give the best pictures. And to find out that we have children having to work on these machines and work in these conditions is very, very disheartening, to say the least. And apparently the Labor Department also is alleging the company intimidated these teenagers to stop them from cooperating with investigators, and actually went as far as deleting messages and files while investigators were on scene. So not only are they oppressing these children, but they're trying to sweep it under the rug and cover up their tracks, which is even more egregious. KTV has reached out to Packer Sanitation Services for comment, but according to the investigation, there are concerns that packing sanitation may employ minor children under similar conditions in 400 operations across the country. Again, 400 operations across the country, man. Bad.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, what do you say about that? I mean, there's a lot, but man.
Like I said, man, like to me, the nature of this whole business is crazy. The meat packing industry is the more I learn about it, the more I just get disgusted by it. I mean, I learned a lot when Tony Vargas, who just ran for a seat in the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't talk about that too much, though. Yes, it was kind of a tragedy that Bacon won that again. But Tony Vargas started his whole career, his political career and stuff, based on the fact that his father worked at a plant. You know, he had relatives that were, especially during COVID, in some of the worst conditions. You know, they did stuff like put up plexiglass right between people because that was their COVID shield. Um, there was lawsuits and stuff against them. We've reported about them betting on who's going to die. Certain industries, certain packing plants who were got caught taking bets on who was going to die. And I mean, like it's crazy, man. And then just to think about like the fact that a lot of people who work in these packing plants are immigrants. Some would even call undocumented.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and these same people that own these plants, say what they say about immigrants, about people that are, closing the borders off. Okay, well, if you believe in all this stuff, why you got undocumented people working for you? Why you got children working for you? Why, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're obviously paying them too low of a wage. You call them necessary workers. They got to work through pandemics. You barely have the equipment that you need to protect them. And now we're reading another story about the packing plants that has to do with miners cleaning up around messed up equipment and stuff in the middle of the night, and then getting harassed like, don't tell nobody what we got you doing.
Man.
Rose Reviews in the chat on YouTube says, right or wrong, most cultures of the world have their kids working. Linda Chicago on YouTube says, the entire deal smells rotten, but none of it is surprising. Rich people making money on the backs of poor that don't have voices. It's disgusting,
Mm.
especially disgusting with this plant, with the packing plants. For me, though,
Yeah.
especially disgusting. Mayor Sanchez says, in America, you'll see kids in family restaurants doing small tasks. His parents worked in factories, then their child works there. Stop eating meat.
That's what I was gonna say. That's my thought. Like, that's my thought. If you ever needed a perfect time to stop eating meat, now would be the time. I mean, you got inflation, you got, you know what I'm saying, possible famine. I mean, the whole logistics of the meatpacking situation is not the best. I mean, you still got that train labor, negotiations going on, not to mention the health effects of pork and beef and things like that. And then like you got 13 and 17-year-olds, like you got teenagers cleaning up blood soaked like raw meat infested machinery and things like that. You could barely get me to clean my room when I was 13.
One of the ways that when I go into my I'm not eating meat mode, it starts with me like being grossed out in the kitchen. Like this is I ain't this is gross. And then I go and then something happens to me, and then I'm starting like I don't even want to taste this stuff. Oh, the meat is smelling off to me, and I'll go off of meat for about 6 months. But like that's where it starts for me. It starts in the fact that first of all, it's the meat industry is raising animals to be slaughtered. And then you have an industry and a facility to slaughter them. You come up with all kinds of techniques to kill them and cut them up and do all this stuff. And then it's not if there are always facilities that like the poorest people are working at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm be careful what I say. I'm in Nebraska, and there's a lot of people that came to Nebraska for the meat packing plants, including my family.
Yep.
There's a lot of people that still work in the meat industry in the packing plants, and then companies that own packing plants in Nebraska. So I'm just voicing my opinion about how it is that I feel like that there whatever you can say that the conditions for workers should be better, and especially if you got teenagers working there as well. Like what are you kidding?
Yeah.
This whole thing is crazy to me. Marianne Williams in the chat. First of all, Marianne Williams is a chat chimer that puts a whole lot of stuff in Friends of First Sky Omaha. I really appreciate you doing that. It sounds like you do some deep dive work yourself, so really appreciate the stuff that you put in. It's very intriguing. She says, "When people care about these kids, when will people care about these kids? Let's be honest. They're brown
Mm.
kids of immigrant parents who people view as subhuman anyway. What people other people. But yeah, that's my point too. Like, who would be even in there? Can you imagine these some little white kids in there doing this? It wouldn't even be gotten started in the first place. Wouldn't be done.
Man, I just
And
when I hear
I'm not saying it won't. It might be there might be like some poor white kids in there doing this. The point is like how you got child labor on these tasks. Miss Erica Phil says those that protest the loudest are usually trying to distract from their hand. And interesting. Linda Chicago says such a dangerous environment to begin with. No children should be subjected to that. I'm
some
sorry for
saying.
that. I cut you off a second ago. What were you about to say?
Oh no, you good, you good. I was just gonna say, when I hear stories like this, I think of The Jungle, the Upton Sinclair book.
Oh yeah,
Have
yeah.
you read that? Are
Oh
you
yeah,
familiar
yeah,
with?
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes, yes. I almost feel like things haven't changed.
Well, no, they haven't. They've gotten worse in a lot of ways. Miss Erica Phil says what those children did can't be processed correctly by their brains. They're
Mm-hmm.
still developing heavily emotionally. Yeah. Yeah, life and death. What do you think about it? How do you what's your what's your brain how's your brain adapt and work when it comes to those kinds of things and seeing what you're seeing? Seeing what you're seeing that your imagination could apply elsewhere. Every serial killer starts off with killing animals. Um, Ron's review said Ron's review says stop eating meat. He's adamant on this. Sean McCarthy says reading about chicken processing plants will make you a vegetarian.
Mm.
Bro, watching documentaries on beef packing plants made me go vegan and makes me go vegan at least 6 months out of the year. You know what I'm saying? It definitely has definitely changed some of my attitude about that. And that's we're talking about processing plants.
Man, I got a video I want to show y'all real quick, man. You can't trust it. You can't trust it. I saw this. Look at this. You see what this is? No, don't look at that. This
A
is
juicy, sizzling steak made by computer.
can't trust it.
While obtaining regular meat is a process that's been taking place for millennia, cow, butcher, beef, Redefined Meat, a meat alternative startup out of Israel, makes their product using a highly technical process. The mix of soy and pea protein, chickpeas, beetroot, nutritional yeast, and coconut fat is formed into steak like shapes using a 3D printer.
Our goal is to become the largest meat company in the world just by harnessing technology.
Wow.
Y'all want that 3D meat out of machines?
I don't know, man. I'll try that. You know, I don't know because how much more safe is actual meat? Wanda Lewis says my brother is vegan. He briefly worked at the packing plant after he came out of the Marine Corps. He said they would cut out most of the cancer and send the rest of the meat down the line to process to be processed.
Yeah.
He hasn't ate meat since. Man,
Like pus. Yeah.
listen, just go in your mind for a minute and think about how much you have to block out in order to in order to deal with meat. How much you actually are blocking out because we all know all these things. We've heard it. Carolyn Jack says this is horrific. The temperature of the water used in plants alone makes this hazardous. The temperature of the water. Wow. Linda Chicago on YouTube says people will never stop eating meat, including myself. I think, but child labor in a packing house is unacceptable. Who's mining the hen house?
Good question.
I mean, these are one of them things that this is the reason why we have these kinds of conversations and why we talk it out instead of just splurt out headlines because there's a lot to all of this. There's a lot to it. We're talking. The story started off talking about these kids and these child labor laws that are that are possibly getting broken. The intimidation that's happening with the kids, the kind of work conditions in the jobs. That's the story. That's the thing on it by itself. But that's also coupled with the fact that we've learned things from people like Tony Vargas on just the conditions of workers. Period. Even grown workers that are working during the day. All we've heard about the horrific situations that's been happening through the pandemic. We've heard about meatpacking plants that have been taking bets on people who would die of COVID.
Man,
We have been we've gone on and on about this, and then all for what? All for an industry that basically is growing these weird animals in order to slaughter them for us to eat. And how many sicknesses and how many diseases and how many whatever comes from that? Like the whole industry is a I mean, you can have a whole podcast on just the industry. So yeah, crazy. Ty Williams says yes, vegan. Don't eat anything that pees or poops. I mean, we can go on and on about what we're solutions based, so we get all the way down to the nitty gritty of the solution, which is like shut the whole industry down, stop eating meat. I don't know if that's like I said, it ain't all the way the answer for me either. But I tell you, the more that the more I learn, the more I get into this thing, the more I definitely lean towards that because man, what's going on with our food?
that's the question. That's the question. Rome's review saying it's fine in regards to that video says that sounds delicious, just don't sell it as meat. It's vegan. And yes, in the video they did say that it was like chickpeas and stuff like that, soy,
Right.
which that's a whole nother conversation about the eating of soy. It's not the best of you for you, but yeah, I mean the fact that they're selling it as meat and all this impossible meat and all this beyond meat that's not really meat, like I don't trust it. I just don't.
Yeah, but do you trust meat?
No.
So that's what I'm saying. What can we trust to eat?
Fruits and vegetables.
Well, yeah, that's it.
Apples, oranges. I know what those look like.
I mean, we can go in there. I lived in Hawaii for 9 years, bro. You wanna talk about HMOs? You wanna talk about the fact that broccoli is not an actual plant?
Corn.
Rose Review says, "I think kids should be working." Okay, here's a different viewpoint. If they aren't studios, definitely deserve safe working environment. If they aren't studious, okay. I think kids should be working if they aren't studious. So
Agreed.
you're saying if they don't go to school, they should be doing something as far as work is concerned.
But not getting exploited in meatpacking plants.
Well, and let's define that thing about working. I think they should be doing some work. I don't think they should be working in the capitalistic labor
Hmm.
situation. You know what I'm saying? I think they should be learning how to be outside, learning how to work the land, and learning how to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
uh, let's define that. Should they be in the labor force? You think they ought to be in the labor force? That's something to really consider. Miss Erica Phelps says they're being desensitized, not much different than young teens in some inner cities. Death and money go together. Speaking from experience.
Mm.
Wanda Lewis says, "I heard they've started genetically growing meat in the lab." They do that too. Marianne Williams says, "My daughter adopted some birds, and I can't eat bird anymore. I need to get a pet cow, and I'll be off meat altogether." Sean, well, listen, that that goes. I mean, we got to talk about people who grew up on farms and have cows for pets and then end up eating them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like, where's your mind state with that situation? Sean McCarthy says, reading Fast Food Nation, there was a few chapters in meatpacking plants. It's a horrible combination, especially for young people. Brutally fast work environments combined with razor sharp knives and an unwillingness to stop the process line for any disruptions. Woo.
Yeah. And I would like to also mention that these children they're working like graveyard shifts, like the hardest shift, cleaning this stuff.
Yeah. I wonder what the ratio is, how many people getting arms caught in machines and stuff like that
Man,
is.
man, man.
Miss Cheryl Weston says, why didn't the USDA inspectors who are on the meatpacking plants floor on a daily basis report child labor practices immediately? This is what I'm saying. How much lobbying? We just came off a political season. How much lobbying happens for meatpacking plants?
Mm.
How much are city officials turning a blind eye to things?
I mean, look at Ilan Pillin. He's a pig farmer, billionaire.
We got a pig farmer for a governor now, bro. So be a good. We need to find out was. So there you go. And he might be in it. He's in an industry and is associated with an industry that they got some child labor stuff happening now. Wanda Lewis says you have billionaires buying up all the farmland too. Are we going fully genetically modified?
There you go.
I got news for you. We are
Been.
80% genetically modified already. Most
Yeah,
of the
been.
food that we eat is that way,
Yeah,
including
I
fruits and vegetables.
never forget. I had a lecture in college about there's a lecturer talking about um population control.
Mm.
Find out he used to work for Monsanto. If you don't know about Monsanto,
Like I
look
said, I
into it.
lived in Hawaii 9 years. This is the Monsanto is the evil Darth Vader evil empire Death Star
Man, like
company.
there's countries who have like people in certain countries have gone to burn full Monsanto fields because they know what it is. So yeah, food sovereignty. That's why big shout out to the Umaha tribe or what was the Ho Chunk?
Yeah, both of them are
Yeah,
doing some organic farming.
organic farming. Shout out to them. We're gonna need to tap in because you see it's slim choices out there.
Yeah, very very much so. Erica Fell says the meat and poultry industry was very different just 40 years ago, but as population grew and demand increased, they put dollars over ethics. Very true.
Always.
Wanda Lewis says the selling of fake seeds to black farmers in the South in an attempt to steal their land is still going on in court today.
Hmm.
I remember learning about that happening in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. Had the farmers say their land was no longer productive for growing when they purposely sold them fake seeds. Ain't that some man? They just will find any way. Linda Chicago says it's like slave labor, unacceptable. Wanda Lewis says actually you can't trust the fruits and vegetables either. When I buy them, I wash some and baking soda and within the berries, vinegar, water, in order to rid it of pesticides and preservatives. Right?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
And like I said, Monsanto, who is a company who is associated with weed control and all that, the pesticides and things that
Mhm.
they put in there. They
Mhm.
also they've been patenting seeds.
Yeah.
So they will genetically modify a seed, which to make stuff like watermelons with no seeds,
Right.
for instance. They genetically modify it so they can grow watermelons with no seeds.
Yeah.
They take that genetic modification and call it an invention and patent it.
Mhm.
Uh, then stuff happens naturally, like one farmer will be next to a Monsanto farm and something will blow over from a Monsanto farm into that farmer's thing, and then they'll sue them and try to take their land for using their proprietary seed.
Cross pollination.
Craziness. Uh, Marianne Williams says several farmer associations stood with Vargas and packing plant workers during the COVID crisis, though. Yeah,
Mm.
there's definitely farmers. talking to Senator Carol Blood, put some respect on her name. Same thing. We talk about there's farmers that understand some of these things are going on, trying to do things differently, standing with the industry, standing with the right people on trying to change it, make a shift happen. Terry Crawford says yes, the shift they go to sleep, and the process of blood, guts, and gore seeps into their impressionable psyche. Brain trauma manifests in adulthood. That's the stuff that I was talking about.
Like the actual, like the end, like from consuming that meat, you get some of those hormones that those animals are secreting when they're slaughtered, like the fear hormones and things. That's why certain hunting practices and kosher meat, is the way it is. Like, when you're hunting, you're supposed to pray over the meat, because those animals actually secrete hormones and chemicals into the meat, into their bloodstream when they die, when they're getting slaughtered, because they're fearful, and you eat that and take on that.
Yep. Yeah. I'm looking at the clock. I'm just thinking we can. This is an evergreen conversation. This is evergreen conversation. We can talk over and over about this, and we will. Rose Review says hemp is our future. Let's talk
I
about
see
it.
what you did there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there's a lot that can be done, but no, everybody's efforts are going to maintaining the status quo on what's been happening, as if we can't change and come up with a better idea. Yeah, man. But they refine the way to capitalize on all of it, and this is what it all comes down to is like who's making the most money on all this stuff, who's getting paid from all this stuff. Again, if you are associated with a work with a packing house or a company that owns a packing house, if you're in the food industry, we're talking about what we're talking about, and we're putting our opinions on it. Our opinions shift and change and grow based on who's talking, who we're listening to, and whether or not we can have a decent conversation about it. So if you are in those industries, we would encourage you to come on and talk. We would encourage you to jump into the chat and talk about it. I'm sure if you've listened to this show or seen this show over the time that we've been doing it, you've seen our viewpoints change based on intelligent conversation. So I would really like to make sure that everybody it has a chance to speak up on these things because we live in Nebraska, where food industry is huge. One of the Fortune 100 companies, one of the states that have the most Fortune 100 companies, 4 or 5 of which are huge food processing companies. We got to be running across people every day that do that, and not to mention our ancestors. Our story starts with the Great Migration, where Black folks came from the South in order to come to where they heard jobs were, which most of those jobs were meatpacking plants, which is the reason why we ended up in North and South Omaha, which was the reason why we ended up on the East Side in the first place. So this is all it ties into everything that goes on here, and furthermore, what's the industry here now? Now that the meatpacking plants have diminished since those days, then what does that mean for the industry? Have they doubled and tripled up the sizes of their facilities? The one or the 3 or 4 that's left? What does this actually mean? Well, we're getting little glimpses of what it means here. They got teenagers working graveyard shifts cleaning up around blades and blood and guts and everything else, and they're feeling like the conditions that they're working in are worthy of being looked at and disciplined for. And then we're hearing that these same companies are trying to intimidate the kids not to talk, and they got to have restraining orders against them now in order to stop that.
And again,
So,
this isn't just Nebraska. 400 operations across the country. Again, 400 operations across the country. It's an industry thing that definitely needs to be addressed.
a couple last comments. Lynn in Chicago says it comes down to being the voice for children on this one, and those afraid to speak up. Pull back the curtain for transparency. We will be better off. You ain't lying. Let's take a quick break. 8:20 coming up on 8 is actually 8:19 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we have effectively ruined Miss Erica Felt's dinner. She said we started talking about this as she pulled pulled into the garage, took the chicken out of the freezer. So I don't know what you're gonna do now, but it is what it is. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I want to take that corn out, take them veggies out.
I don't know about that corn either. I don't know. Comes out whole for a reason.
Just stop eating. Let's just stop eating altogether. First Sky Omaha Radio. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Call Beeee Buddi3 Da Gawd. Hey, send me them stems, man. I want to put a remix bass line on that.
Yeah, I need a better bass line. Yeah.
I like it. I can hear one. I can hear one coming.
I got you.
I even came up with a hook because they're talking about she's thinking about salad. I'm thinking about singing about salad now on that hook.
Okay. Getting your Weird Al Yankovic on?
Yeah, man. It feels good. Feels good to be thinking creatively that way. You're coming over. Yeah, Paul B putting the high 16 on Buddy Beats in a minute.
Hey, let's make it happen.
Wanda Lewis says, usually every year I grow something in my garden. Approximately 5 years ago, everything that came out of the ground grew out rotten. I attribute it to chemicals or me living near the airport. Woo.
I
mean, it could be all kinds of stuff from what I understand. Lead in the ground, and I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on with soil.
Well, she said that the soil got tested for lead, and I guess it was under the ppm. That's interesting. I do want to give a shout out to brother Leo Lewis and the Betty Shabazz garden over at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. Our time over there and volunteering, actually had a plot for a little bit, but that's where I actually learned about heirloom seeds and seeds that actually grow fruit that also produces seeds, not just these Monsanto seeds. Shout out to them. There's some heirloom fruits and vegetables in that garden. So I know it's winter now or getting cold, so I don't know if they have any yield, but yeah, shout out to the garden, man. Shout out to them. They do still have a lot of heirloom seeds, so check them out. Malcolm X Memorial Foundation.
Yeah, man. Missing Dr. Green Thumb telling me about all that stuff, man.
Man, shout out to Leon, man. Shout out to Leon.
Yeah. There's another garden. What's that other garden that's in North Omaha that we were meeting with them all the time with the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation.
Big Muddy Farm, or is that permaculture?
Yeah, Omaha Permaculture. That's what. Shout out to them too, because they got a lot of stuff going on there too, and you can also do plots and things there, and that's where my honey guy is.
Man,
the brother who has the daughter that they do the extract the honey from the bees. They got bees over there, and so there's some stuff in the hood, man, that you can definitely take advantage of if you want to learn about those legacy seeds. And have a little plot to do some things on. I mean, you can go volunteer there. You can grow things there. Get fresh honey from there. So yeah, there's some resources out there, man. There's some solutions. There's neighborhood gardens everywhere. Everybody I know really kind of tries to grow a little something here and there. That's what's up. No More Empty Pots is an organization that works well on taking care of food deserts and just trying to make sure that people have what they need. And they work with local farmers and stuff like that too to get things. We are in farm country, so there's pockets of solutions here and there and everywhere in order to do some of that stuff for sure. So gotta check it out. Wanda Lewis says that's why the Malcolm X Center don't allow anybody planting anything in their garden without permission. Right? You can't just bring any old seeds over there at any old. You know what I'm saying? Like,
nah, man, you taint the whole garden.
You got to work with them. Carolyn Jack says use pots or garden beds. Can't trust what's in the soil. Until you can buy a bag of soil that's already been tested and so on and so forth, and use pots and use containers and grow things. Rose Review says that's why cannabis is medicinal. It comes from the seed. If you believe God gave it to us, God gave it to us for food, textiles, medicines. Everywhere that allows the growing of hemp is benefiting from that hemp being, reusable. I mean, you can even they they used to make toilet paper and stuff out. I mean, they still do out of trees.
Mhm.
Whereas if even like hemp paper products are easily or work better. They break down better, and they also can be grown faster, and so on and so forth. There's so many different solutions out there that people don't look at because they're just trying to hold on to the status quo. It's ridiculous.
Man.
Gwen Easter in the chat says, first of all, I want to say that she had a long, kind of a long comment earlier. I want you to go back and definitely read that comment. We won't read them all on the show because we're usually talking about a certain subject, and if they're too long, we won't read them. But that doesn't mean that we don't want people to read them or that we're dissing them or we're glossing over them. So please go back and read Gwen Easter's comment. It's very informative. Right here, she says, "Do you all remember when families were allowed to have fruit trees? We had a pear tree in our backyard when I was young because the previous tenants grew it and our neighbors had a peach tree. I heard fruit trees are not allowed anymore in the city because it took away business from the farmers."
Really?
I haven't heard that.
No, I didn't either.
I go around planting trees anyway, everywhere. So whenever I'm staying somewhere, I'm gonna plant something. That's really kind of what happened. The last house I was living in, ground wouldn't take the stuff I was doing either. But
Bro.
I've grown stuff in friends' places. I did not know that. I have to. We gotta look into that and see if that's
Yeah.
the case. Uh,
That's crazy.
it
I grew up
is.
on 36 at Heinball, not too far from Belvedere, Belvedere and McMillan. And we had a pear tree, an apple tree, a grapevine. Man,
Yeah.
that's crazy. You can't. Wow, I gotta look at that law.
I would definitely like to look into it because I was looking at what stuff grows here. Pears the weather in the environment really tend to pears and apples.
Yep.
A lot of stuff that you can grow here in Nebraska that will
Grapes.
last the year round and everything. Right. Interesting, man. Kimmer Stice says, "Let me find out you can't have fruit trees."
That's what I'm saying, man. Let me find out. Let me find out. But man, that's we again. We can keep talking about this all day. But
Yeah.
we do have some other stories that I want to dive into. Just about 30 minutes left in the show. Do want to get into these stories and also allow enough time for the haps. So again, if you do have some haps, it is Friday. Let us know what's going on with you this weekend. Get ready for that. But yeah, big shout out to everybody who joined that conversation, man. Very, yeah, we appreciate when the chat goes off like that. But yeah, we got to get this in. So let's pivot a little bit.
Mhm.
And I do want to give a shout out to one of the chat chimers, Miss Wanda Lewis, for bringing this to our attention. Apparently, this has been going crazy on social media, on Facebook already. A lot of people have commented on this. I believe Gwen Easter earlier said that she knows the young lady who's involved in this situation. But yeah, we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. Of course, continuing our conversation about the police force here in Omaha, and I do use the word force intentionally. Man, this is a sad situation, and my question is this the golden standard of policing that y'all talking about? If you're not familiar with the situation, this has been reported in the news, but we're reading from the Facebook post because there's so much more information in this post. But apparently, late last night on Sunday, November 6th, a young woman, Quantisha Valentine, says that she finally got to catch the person who had been harassing her and vandalizing her vehicle. She says the scariest part about this is that the man is a police officer and lives in her apartment complex. It has been reported that Omaha police officer William Cleese has been harassing this woman, stabbed her tires, been throwing garbage on her car. He will put trash and random things all over her vehicle. She says, I even had a stabbed tire with an egg thrown at my car, which was the second vandalism I had noticed. Everyone would ask me if there was maybe a crazy ex-stalker or enemies. I would assure them no, nothing and no one I could think of, not even slightly. And she says, after the second incident, I couldn't stop looking over my shoulder. And this is the kind of the most heartbreaking part, that a person who's charged with protecting causes someone to feel like this. She says, I'm constantly looking outside my window, no matter the time of day or night. I sleep with something in front of my door and protection near my bed every night because I feel watched. You just never know. It will be someone's like lunch on top of my car at times, then simply trash. This past Saturday, November 5th, there was a huge bag of trash in my car. I went through the trash thinking was has to be their trash. Maybe it turned out to be random trash. And then boom, the next day she says she saw Officer William Thomas Cleese walking towards her car with a bag of trash he took out of the dumpster. She says, I watched him rip it open and dump it all over my car, grabbed another to do the same of the trunk of my car. I immediately grabbed the phone to record and confronted him in the halls as he headed to his apartment. Apparently, the Omaha police were called on this officer, and he didn't even open the door. He didn't want to speak to his fellow officers who he claims to be in brotherhood with. He hid in his apartment like a coward. Omaha Police Officers Association, who's been tagged in this post, she says this is disgusting. Omaha Police Department, please do something about this. And exactly what has the Omaha Police done? Put them on vacation while they investigate what's going on. So that's currently where this stands. There are more details about this that I'm sure we'll get into, but definitely would love to hear from the chat.
And for those of you that are not frequenters of the show, I just want to remind everybody when we say put him on vacation, that's our code for saying that he's been put on paid leave, because that's really what it is.
Yeah.
I don't even understand how that's a form of discipline. I would be getting in trouble all the time if my discipline was paid leave. It doesn't. I mean, oh, I don't got to go work. I still get paid. I would
All
like
right.
to know more about this. Does it go on some kind of record? Is there infractions that
No.
add up to a firing? We've reported on those stuff too. No, even if you get fired, you can go somewhere else and get on another police force somewhere, because that's just how the industry works. Jump into the chat real quick. Wanda Lewis says she's a friend of my daughter and she is in fear of retaliation. The officer still lives there. Like to find out where she lives. Like to find out how many of us drive by that situation and can keep an eye on things. Because like Glenn Easter said, that cop is crazy. The cop is crazy. Katie L says Cleese is an extremely unstable individual. This is not the first incident as an OPD employee. Omaha Police Department, man, the cop is a stalker. Glenn Easter said. I read in one of the articles that was in one of the major papers that he was stalking an ex lover, but it don't sound like that's the case. It doesn't sound like the sister was involved with him this way. Uh,
No.
no, there's nothing that tells me that from her own personal testimony from her page. Not at all.
She said she spoke to him one time.
When Easter said providers spoke up and I'm sorry, was she talking about something else there? Carol and Jack, they're having a conversation. Love it. Wanda Lewis it says he should be asked by the apartment management for him to leave the premises. She should also seek protection order.
Can
Yeah,
I
she
speak
should.
to that?
Yeah, please.
Again, they're in cahoots. That's why he's not being asked to leave. In this post, she says again, as I mentioned, she had to get her own phone footage of this incident to find out and prove who it was. There are cameras on site. Why did she have to get her own phone footage? Because the property manager said that they couldn't get it. They couldn't get the footage. Oh, we can't get it. Oh, we don't see anything from our angles. To find out that this officer is living in this apartment complex rent free. He's living there for free. The company pays for him to live on site. That is complete. They completely comp his rent. And again, someone in Facebook says, no wonder they couldn't get the footage.
The Miss Erica says the fact that she's likely missed work and or been late affecting her income, and he's on paid leave is disgusting. Vacation. He's on vacation. Glenn Easter said, "I hope the apartment complex eviction. I hope the residents keep an eye on her and protect her." Well, Miss Easter, as you can see, the apartment complex is in cahoots. He ain't getting evicted. He lives there for free already.
Right? How they gonna evict him? They paying his rent. How they gonna evict him?
Oh, man. Wanda Lewis says the new apartment's on 20th and Coming. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's going to reroute my route going downtown for sure. Linda in Chicago says she has it on video. She has a video of him at the door in their building. What other organization would not fire him immediately?
Yeah, let me share some of this footage, man. Like, again, she's gone out of her way to prove it because, again, the apartment complex isn't doing their job and keeping the residents safe. This is her vehicle, as you can see, trash. Which you would think the apartment complex wouldn't want trash just all over the place. You would think they would want to keep their complex clean.
You know, we can talk about how disturbed this individual is all you want to. He's power. It's a power thing that he's allowed to do this thing without any retaliation from the apartment complex, without actually being disciplined by the police department. Um, yeah, it's can you imagine just walking around feeling like you have the autonomy to do whatever it is your crazy mind feels like doing to somebody? And like you said, the really sad part about it is if you are afraid. First of all, she didn't know who was doing it in the beginning, so you just think you got a stalker. So you look at you be in Target looking around because you don't know if somebody's following you around. Then you gotta do your own work to find to get video of this fool. You gotta do your own work to get to surveillance because your apartment complex that you're paying for the video cameras that are in there are not capturing him and they're not doing nothing about it. And you could just be somewhere. There's no way I would be blasting the apartment complex. I'd be blasting everything. The police department, all I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Eric Felt says there's too many rumors surrounding this, and most are giving him excuses, although bad ones. Uh, also, Wanda Lewis says it's also stated that he's living there rent free because management thought he would be an asset to the security in the building. Do other police officers get free rent where they live?
That's a good question.
Is this a
That's a
thing?
very good question. Is that a thing? I know they get free coffee when they go to a Quick Trip.
If I had an apartment complex and a police officer wanted to move into it, I could see giving him a discounted rate for him being that.
Security services.
Yeah, not sec- I mean, not that he even has to do anything. Just his presence as a police officer would means that you're gonna have less mess going on at your complex. But if the cop is the one that is providing the mess, why would you back that?
Exactly. And I find that interesting because in this woman's testimony, she says that in the one encounter that she had with him, where she just happened to cross paths with him, like, oh, hey, you live here? And she said that she felt safe initially, like, oh, there's a cop here. Yes, there's going to be less. And then he immediately made an issue about the troublesome homeless people. And that all she says, that whole feeling just went out the window. And now this. And it's just, again, my whole thought is we talked about it. The Omaha Police Department portrays themselves as the golden standard of policing, and due to, I mean, according to records and according to numbers, they kind of are as far as whatever data they use to quantify that type of thing. But if this is the golden standard of policing, we're in trouble.
Well, everybody knows it's not, and this is the reason why they put him on paid leave. They need to investigate. They know this is a bad look.
They
He
need to
probably
fire him.
he won't get a snap. He'll get a smack on a smack on the wrist because if you can shoot and kill a black man and not get fired, then you can put some trash on a black woman's car and not get fired. You know he's gonna get a slap on the wrist. This is more about her feeling of safety and her being and her, whatever she needs to be protected. It's also about the apartment complex and what they would allow, and it's also about realizing what terrorism really is and
Mm.
how you can terror you can put somebody through terror by doing little crazy stuff like this. Like what kind of how trashy is this?
Man, pun
It's
intended.
yeah. Seriously, like that's where you and why? Let's talk about have we can we even get into the motive? Why
The
would you
Omaha woman
why
says
would
someone's been
Sorry,
trashing.
I apologize.
yeah. Why would you do this? What is your problem? Rome's review says this situation is making me feel terrible, and for all compassionate people who have to see this story, me too. Me too.
Like, why
Whitney
did they get
says,
trash?
I hope she sued the complex and the police department. Me too. Ms. Erica Felt says the department claims they canceled that deal, but effective when? Sean McCarthy says, yeah, harassing other tenants that should be grounds for eviction. That sucks that she has to do her own policing. Yeah, I live where I live. I can't make no noise in my own house
Mm.
without threat of getting kicked out of here because I'm disturbing neighbors. Are you kidding me? Let me throw some trash in the lobby of this place,
Just missed the trash can.
bro. We'll get a note on the door. Your bag missed the trash can when you tossed it. Linda in Chicago says from the article, Valentine said someone been dumping trash on her car for months at her apartment building on 20th and Coming. Right, that's what we're talking about. For months, this has been going on. Rose Review says he won't leave when the cops ask him to leave. He's not going to leave if the landlord asks or a judge. If he ain't gonna answer the door when the cops come, then what you gonna do? Wanda Lewis says him being on leave gives him more time to plot. Yeah, right. She gonna have trash in the gas tank in a minute.
Man.
Terry Crawford says if it were OHA housing and he was a subsidized tenant, he would be in the eviction process. Different rules apply. Apparently, he wouldn't just be getting evicted; he'd be put in jail if this was OHA and he was an OHA tenant and a resident acting like this. They'd call the police on him. Well, I mean, they call
what
the
good would
police
that
on
do?
us.
What
Right.
good would that do?
Ghost Listener 402 says Nona NAACP should assist. Yeah, that's a good one to step in. Definitely, a neighborhood association should help could help this situation out for sure. Katie L said, Wanda Lewis says he's a stalker. Katie L says, absolutely agree. This is an accountability issue, both individually and systematically. OPD, and OPA. No excuses. Ms. Erica Fell says, I wouldn't. They have higher incidence of domestic violence. Full rent. Full rent and a $1,500 fine every time you beat your wife up. Linda Chicago says he's a scumbag that needs to be fired. He also needs mental help. That is not socially normal behavior.
It's not. Like, why would you? What could compel you to dig in the trash in the first place? Why are you playing in the trash? That is gross.
What are you mad at, man? And why is that the retaliation?
And he's obviously angry with let's put it out there. She's a sister. Let's just put that out there.
Winisa says, I hope our leadership speak up publicly and help put a stop to this situation. That'd be a great thing for them to jump into. We can go on and on. You guys got so many different I'm way behind on doing that. Wanda Lewis says city councilwoman Juanita Johnson's district, she plans to meet with the police. That's what's up.
Okay. Good.
Yep. Need a black security team. Can't imagine how scared they must all be, all of them all the time. Officers living in the apartment complex on comp basis, not even paying rent. Sean McCarthy says the property management company needs to collect all of the rent that they comped him for the tenant. I see lawsuit coming for pain and suffering. For real. Where does he work? Which police department is he at? Good question, Miss Carolyn Jack. Wanda Lewis says he might have to be physically removed. Management has the keys and police has the ability to remove them.
There you go.
Might come down to that. I hope it does.
There you go.
Appreciate all your comments on that. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. 8:43. If you believe in the concept of time. Let's do a little lightning round before we take a little break and get to the Haps, buddy. What else we got to talk about here?
Yeah. As we wrap up today's news cycle, we'll go over some election outcomes. Again, we're still getting some things in, but as of right now, we know that the Republican Party has secured a filibuster-proof majority in the state legislature. The latest results coming in Wednesday morning appear to support looming legislative efforts to restrict abortion access, which is one of the main things that's hanging in the balance. Also, some of the issues that may be coming across and may be getting some support now that the Republicans have a majority, permitless carrying, concealed carry, also promote private school scholarships with tax dollars. So again, public schools suffering even more. And then 3 priorities that previously fell short in the face of filibuster. So you're definitely expecting that to come back around. Of course, all incumbent senators won their seats, including 2 senators who had been appointed by Governor Ricketts this year and were making their electoral debut, and 2 former senators reclaimed their old seats in the legislature. So again, the red state gets even redder. There you go. Kind of like my hat. But man, let's end on a little good news. A bag coming to the Urban League, a little Robin Hood, if you will. The Urban League of Nebraska plans to expand its school-based and young adult work programs with the largest single donation in its 90-year history, $2.9 million from philanthropist and author Mackenzie Scott was laid on the Urban League recently. The gift as part of a $100 million that Scott gave to 25 affiliates of the National Urban League Wayne Brown, who's the president and CEO of the Urban League of Nebraska, said the organization is honored and grateful that Scott had recognized its value and impact in the community. The Urban League of Nebraska, based in North Omaha, said it will use the money to enhance long-standing programs with new evidence-based practices and methodologies, with an emphasis on economic inequality and racial inequities in school and work settings. This will include implementing restorative practices in the Urban League's school-based programs, and also, quote unquote, expanding beyond a focus on truancy to address broader factors related to the school to prison pipeline. So that's definitely huge. Big shout out to the Urban League of Nebraska for doing the work. And if you're not familiar with this Robin Hood, if you will, Miss Scott, who is the former wife of billionaire Jeff Bezos, and they recently divorced, and she got a large lump sum in the divorce, and now she's doing good with it. So kudos to her.
Well, she was doing good with it before. I don't know if you
Yep.
remember, but that was kind of the one of the issues of their marriage was that he was not being a philanthropist the way that she thought he needed to be. She was just giving away. She was giving away money. She she was like she was the one that was all in the causes, doing the work, even all through the divorce. And now they are divorced. She's gonna keep on going with it. So that's what's up. Big chunk. Big changes that happened over at the Urban League in the past couple of years.
Mhm.
Change in leadership and so on and so forth. When you read that statement about when asked what they're going to do with the money, by the time you got halfway through, my eyes was glazing over a little bit, and then at the end I heard preschool to prison pipeline. Oh, okay, they're gonna do something about prison to okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I would like them to come with a little more plain language about what it is they're going to do with that money, and I would also like to see a little bit of oversight on following that situation and seeing if that money can get put to good use, as I want to see with all organizations that are getting lump sums,
Man,
and as I want to see what happens with the ARPA funds that's coming to North Omaha. So
yeah.
again, it's one thing that the money's here. It's another thing about what happens to it. If we look up and 5 years later, North Omaha looks the same after all this money gets dumped in, we gonna know. So this time, how about we try to keep an eye on it as it comes? Ms. Erica Fell says, "I love that there are no strings attached. Urban League gets to decide where every dime goes." Okay, well, that's all fine and good, but now we got to closely take a keep a look on what the Urban League is deciding to do with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And there's a couple people over there that I trust. I trust is gonna go well. Although I don't really know, well, anyway, not gonna get into all that. Just we need to kind of I would like to make sure that they follow through with what it is they're saying they're gonna do with it, and that's the right stuff. Impact. That's right. Thank you, Wanda Lewis. Accountability is what's needed. I'm
But
trying to
I
stay
like the
away
word
from.
you use, oversight. Definitely need oversight.
Yeah, just let us know what's happening. We'll see. Ms. Eggerfeld says they may not know yet. That's a lot of plan for which takes time to make an effective plan. Yeah, what their statement that they made already, a lot of words, it's a lot of language that the funders like to hear, that people like to hear
Mhm.
officially.
Mhm.
Maybe we can have them come on our show and speak plainly about what they're talking about doing,
I'd love
and
to.
exactly the impact. Yeah. So moving on from that, yeah, congratulations on getting big chunk of loot from the Robin Hood of from the white woman Robin Hood
Man.
fund. I love it. I love that story though. That she's just like, Jeff, you just ain't doing enough. You're one of the richest people in the world, and we don't give enough away. Let's do that. Let's do that around.
Man,
It's,
yeah. Shout out to her. She's hey, put some respect on her name.
I wonder if all the other NAAC or urban leagues around the country got a chunk. Or
Yeah. Again, this 2.9 million is from out of a pot of 100 million that she gave to the National Urban League.
oh, National Urban League
Yeah,
got it.
the National Urban League got 100 million. Of that, it broke down into 25 affiliates, and the Nebraska Urban League was one of them.
Okay, that's what's up. At first, I thought she was giving it to Nebraska. Like, what tie she got to Nebraska? But no, that makes sense. But that's cool. That's cool. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Recognizing some of our organizations here in this country that are trying to do something to help. So that's what's
Yeah,
up.
for sure. But yeah, that does it for the lightning round, man.
There you go. Well, if that's the case, then let's go ahead and jump into the Haps, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the Friday Haps.
What's the house? What's happening? What's going down?
Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, time for the Haps. Time for us to talk a little bit about some of the things that you think is important and that you think we ought to be paying attention to in coming to this weekend, and also what we think you might want to check out as well. So there's definitely some things that's happening around town. I'll let Buddy jump in first. Buddy, you got some Haps for the peoples? You got no Haps on? No haps on a Friday. All right. I'll put it to the chat. Please definitely put your haps in as well. Let us know what's going on around town. We definitely would like to know. I can jump in, of course, man. Now that I'm over at the Benson Theater, I can always talk about what's going on over there. Like I said, tonight, your boy right here, Paul B, is going to be back on the drums playing with a funk band later on this evening. Hanky Panky, a funk review. It's a burlesque slash music funk show brought to you by Douglas County Visitors Improvement Bureau, the Benson Theater. I'm sorry, Improvement Fund, BFF, and the Benson Theater. And yeah, some sisters are putting this on, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time, a funky good time later on the night. Also tomorrow, Saturday, Mr. K has an exclusive movie screening event that's going down, which I think is very interesting. He cut a movie. He's getting some good attention from that movie. It's going to be a movie that is going to be on the channels one day. So we're very excited for him putting his thing together. I don't know if you know who Mr. K is, but he does a children's show. And tomorrow you're going to have a chance to do some crafts and do a gift bag and stuff with Mr. K, and also watch the debut of his film. So that's Saturday, November 12th, which is tomorrow. Doors open at 11:30. Card making. He's going to do cards. It's Friendship Day, so we're going to be making cards for friends.
Nice.
Card making with Mr. K, and then he's going to show the film at 12 o'clock, and the film's about a half an hour. So if you're out and about with the kids, you can bring them down, come meet Mr. K for Friendship Day, and check out the movie over there at the Benson Theater, all starting at 11:30 in the afternoon tomorrow. So appreciate them doing that. Of course, next week, every third Thursday, the Red Velvet Curtain open mic is happening. Zadika Poindexter is one of the hosts, and Michelle Droschler is like the DJ and kind of helping out with this too. This is kind of a mic pass down from Verbal Gumbo to a new monthly event that happens every third Thursday at the Benson Theater, and some of the usual suspects and some new poets and rappers and musicians and people that are coming through here. So definitely come and check it out. It's growing as well. Get in early, put your name on the list, and bring your best poem, bring your best spoken word piece. Get busy. It goes down Red Velvet Curtain open mic every third Thursday at 8 o'clock at the Benson Theater. It's happening this coming up Thursday, so definitely check it out. And that's going to be a beautiful thing. Also, I want to give a shout out to Angeline Timeless, who is going to be playing at the Holland,
Yeah,
which
man.
which is huge, huge, huge. That's kind of a for a local band. It's kind of like if you play in the Holland, then you've made it. That now it's like it's time for you to now hit the national scene now after that.
Yeah, you gotta hit the
So
road.
gotta hit the road. So Angeline Timeless gonna be at the Holland Music Club Performing Arts November 25th, 7:30. Go to OPA Omaha Performing Arts .org to get your tickets. Definitely check them out. It's gonna be a beautiful thing. Also, want to give a shout out to the Village, the guys over at Empowerment Network and a lot of other organizations too. The unions here, NOMA is here. Uh, I'm blanking on the rest of the names, but a lot of organizations getting together to put this nice calendar together about everything that's happening in November, December of this year, down in the Deuce Village and 24th and Lake. So it is, what is it, the 11th right now? So tomorrow is Black Business Market from 11 to 5. That's Saturday, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Black Business Market happening over there on 24th and Lake. That's the next thing that's happening. Then, of course, Small Business Saturday, Black Business Market is happening at 11 to 6 the next week as well. So as you can see, there's some events happening coming up. Also, Christmas in the Village, which happens every year, and more Black Business Markets, and Kwanzaa in the Village as well on December 26th through the 1st. So lots coming up as far as holidays concerned. If that's your thing, definitely check out what's going on the north side. It's usually a huge deal that goes on. So that's what's up, and appreciate everybody that's checking in on that. Looks like Art Battle is coming back to the Culture House. That's what's up, man. November 26th at 6 o'clock. We are working on getting Marcy Yates back on the show so we can talk about what the things that are going on at the Culture House. But there's always a lot. This art battle, the one that just passed, I heard from a couple artists that was like it was off the hook.
Man.
It was the kind of event we needed. So that's what's up. 12 artists, 3 rounds, one champion. The art battle is going down at the Culture House November 26th, 6 p.m. Really, really love what they got going on over there, man. That's what's up.
Yeah, and if
Uh,
I'm not mistaken, if you go out there, you got opportunity to walk away with some art as well. So go support some arts, and maybe get some art on your walls at home. So yeah, big shout out to Marcy Yates to the Culture House for putting this on together. Also, it's a performance going down at the Culture House tomorrow. The Faye, J. Crumb, and Marcy Yates will be performing again tomorrow at the Culture House. Check them out. This is apparently a part of a series of live shows throughout the year. So yeah, big shout out to my man Marcy Yates, J. Crumb. It's going to be a good show.
that's what's up. Linda Chicago saying, can you please share the flyer about Snap interviews by UNO? They are offering a $30 gift card for interviewing people that have been denied Snap.
Hmm.
I didn't see that flyer. Where's that flyer at? Is this something? I don't think that we did that before, did we? We'll look for that and put that on Friends of First Sky Omaha. Um, I think I did see that flyer. Now that you mentioned it, I gotta find out where that flyer is. I'm sorry. We'll find it and put it on Friends of First Sky Omaha. Most definitely appreciate the heads up on that.
Yeah.
Miss Erica, go ahead.
I think you're just gonna read the same one. No, not from Miss Erica Phelps. Someone else dropped a happen in the chat. I'm trying to go back to Flatwater Free Press is having a conference on prisons.
Oh, Keatron Cycle. Oh,
Yes.
I'm glad we're finally seeing your name here on that. I know that you've been in the chat before, and now you're coming through here, so I appreciate it, Keatron. Yeah, check your audio on your end. We're all good here. Yeah, definitely. Flatwater Free Press has a forum about the prison system next Wednesday in Lincoln. I
Yep.
will definitely get you some more information on that too as well. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'll definitely share that snap when you post it. We'll find that. Who put that out? This is is it UNO that did that? So she said, please share the flyer about Snap interviews by UNO. They're offering $30 gift cards. Yeah, we'll check out UNO and see if we can find that flyer. Put it in Friends of First Sky Omaha for sure. That's what's up. Um, and let me just double check and see if we got anything else. Of course, we're always working to send Ernest home. So definitely go to the Facebook page there, send Ernest home, and see what you can do to help that situation out. It's still a thing. Also, our sister over here, Whitney Richardson, check out her podcast, Political Evolution. I think it's a weekly podcast. So you can definitely check that out and see what's going on there. And we'll check in. We're also going to be checking in here pretty soon with the BAA and talk to the brothers about what they're doing with the land over there and what we can do to kind of help that situation out as well. Also, we'll go ahead and throw that up. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. I did see this flyer somewhere. Matter of fact, I thought I had it somewhere. Okay, cool. Did you not qualify for Nebraska's SNAP program because of the net income requirements? Well, here you go. Looks like you'll be able to check this out. I wish we can blow that up a little bit more. Um,
There's no way to like zoom in or
where
anything.
did you grab that? I'll go ahead and grab it now and put it up.
Twitter. She sent it to our the First Guy Omaha Twitter.
Oh, yeah, that's where I saw it. Okay, great, great, great. Appreciate that very much. Yeah, we'll definitely check it out and put that up in Friends of First Sky Omaha. Gotta see it. Gotta make sure that we let people know it
Yeah.
exists. Yeah.
No, that's heavy because again, I'm just that catch-22, man. That red tape, that limbo that families find themselves in, making too much for assistance, but not enough to actually afford what you need to afford. So I'm glad UNO is actually giving a gift card and trying to help families and get more information on some of these things. So yeah, big shout out.
Kind of messed up, man, when you think about like just how many people need help and they won't do nothing about the help. You know, they
Yeah.
won't really help. They won't really help. I mean, there it is, a little bigger now.
Right. And then
So
try to act like try to down talk you and make you feel guilty for needing the help and asking for the help and make you jump through hoops and bend over backwards to get it. When I keep, what is the point of government? Like, what's the point if not to help the people?
what's the point? What's the point in taxes? Just to give people money? You as a citizen can't benefit from the taxes you pay. Looks like they'll ask you to do a 1 hour interview here, and you'll receive a $30 gift card to Walmart or Amazon. And yeah, all comments are anonymous, So yeah, this is a good thing, man. Collect these stories. That's what it's all about. Collect the stories and, about why they told you did not qualify. We can get an assessment on how many people that they said didn't qualify, or how many people didn't get helped when they needed it. The comments will be used to help make SNAP more accessible in Nebraska. So appreciate you giving us the heads up on that. We'll definitely drop that in Friends of First Sky Omaha on the Facebook page as well. Also, Gwen Easter in the chat is saying, please invite Midwest Innocent Project located in Missouri on your show to talk about what they do. I heard another radio show they are supposed to put office in Omaha. Maybe they can help Ernest.
Hmm.
Okay, the
Okay.
Midwest Innocent Project located in Missouri. Okay, I appreciate the heads up on that, Miss Easter. We'll definitely look into it and see if we can get them on and talk about that for sure. Uh, so let's see. Keith Recycle says grab a copy of Omaha Magazine this month. Cover stories about fentanyl coming to Omaha. Okay,
Okay.
like to hear more
Okay.
about that. Absolutely.
Man. Man.
Yeah, and with that, I think that's pretty much the haps at this point.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
have anything else.
yeah, that'll work. So it's 9 o'clock. We'll get out of here. Miss Erica felt in the chat. Just lost it again, didn't I? She says headed to 2 doctor's appointments today after chemo yesterday. It was great to start the day with you all, with all of you. Check on your neighbors with this freezing temp. Still drink water, direct your money, and be good to yourselves. Be good to yourself too, Miss Erica Felt. You need to ride somewhere. You need some help. Let us know, and definitely we can continue to help her out through her time as well. As you can see, she's still going through chemo,
Mm.
still not really able to run her business, so definitely hit her up on the Cash App, hit her up on the
Meal train? I was
meal
just gonna
train.
ask, is that meal train page still up?
Meal train. I'm about to check right now if the meal train page is still up, and yes, it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the chat here. Hit the meal train. This is a good situation where you can bring her food, or you can have food sent, or you can help her out with donating. There's a donation thing there. You can just put dollars in to help her out. If for those of you who don't know the story, she is a chat chimer, a friend of First Sky Omaha, a friend of ours. She's going through some cancer treatments and stuff like that right now. That's got her down and can't really run her business. She is one of our child care experts here, and so really had to slow the business down to non-existent right now. So we want to try to help her keep that afloat until she can get back on her feet and get back to work. Wanda Lewis is putting her Cash App in the chat as well. Definitely. Miss Erica says, thank you. Day is coming when I'll have to stop driving altogether. Okay.
Mm.
So yeah, get ready to help her out with some rides and stuff like that too. We want to be very practical in the way that we can help. And shout out to everybody that came to her event the other day, last weekend. When
Yeah.
yeah, shout out to everybody that showed up there. And remember, the fight is not over for her and for us. So thank you for everybody that's already helped and assisted and sent money and sent food. But we need to keep going while she gets through this whole thing. So let's keep doing that for sure. She says, thank you to everyone who stopped by the fundraiser. I was completely blown away. Thank you for meals and cash for bills.
There you
So
go.
help this single mother out who's running her own shop and taking care of other people's babies too. And
Yeah.
we want to take care of her and her need as well. So please continue to do that. With that said, buddy, you got some words for the people?
Man, I mean, big shout out to all the chat chimers as always. Thank you for letting your minds be free, letting your voices be heard, jumping into the chat. We always say it, man. We got the best chat room in the game, man. So we appreciate you, love you. We thank you. Big shout out to all the first time and last time listeners, all the ghost listeners in the back doing what they do. We appreciate you for tuning in. We know you're there, so we love you as well. With that said, man, take care of yourselves, take care of your health, take care of your loved ones. And until then, catch the same time, same place. In the meantime, in between time, Paul B. Take it
Yep.
away, man.
Right. We only got about maybe 8-9 shows left in season 4.
Yeah.
Before it might even be less than that before we go on our break and get ready for season 5. So stay tuned for the rest of this time. We're definitely going to be talking a little bit less about the political situation, since we were so heavily involved in it in the first and until the election happened. Now that that's over, we can dip back into what needs to be done after the election, what needs to be done beyond just putting people in seats, because there's definitely a plan. And a lot of it has to do with following the money. A lot of it has to do with being able to create generational wealth for ourselves, and understanding that just because you have money doesn't mean you have power. Let's look at
Mm-hmm.
Kanye. Look what happens.
Yeah.
Look what's going on with Kanye right now. You can be a billionaire and lose it real fast.
You don't
Uh,
have
so
to answer, Sway.
Sway had to answer. He had to answer.
He did. He did.
He had to come back and say he you did have the answer, Sway.
Yeah, you did.
You did. So, but he's learning, understanding. We don't talk too much about Kyrie and Kanye, which has been in the news and been in
Heavy.
our private conversations pretty heavy. But stuff is starting to look like an attack, and so we got to kind of keep each other in check, keep each other's back. Don't stop. Don't hesitate in trying to gain knowledge of self, no matter what anybody else is trying to act like is wrong for you to do. It's always good to try to learn knowledge yourself and become wise and be the kind of person that can provide for your family for generations to come, and to also keep your health and to keep your health. Like Miss Erica Phelps says, health is wealth, including mental health.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, let's all try to keep everybody together, keep ourselves mentally strong. This group is there's a lot of emotional support here in this group as well, which we are all for because we are human beings and emotional human beings. We all have mental stresses, and we all have physical and practical stresses as well. We're trying to help us take care of all those things at the same time, the complete picture, and not just segments of little things here and there that might be that is convenient for us. Let's keep ourselves inconvenienced by helping each other survive and get through whatever we got to get through. With that said, I had a great turnout for the Rhymes for Young Ghouls over there at the Benson Theater the other night. We had
Nice.
Omaha Tribe elders in the house that were on deck, that were speaking wisdom. It was a beautiful thing, and I got a chance to talk to them again. They were very happy with what we did. Michelle Troxler was also instrumental in making that show happen there. So thanks to Michelle Troxler, thanks to the Benson Theater, thanks to Lavelle Wells, brother Lavelle Wells, put it down, and thanks to the Omaha Tribe elders that drove all the way from the reservation, which is over an hour away, down to the Benson Theater to be able to come speak to us and let us know what's going on with them and what they need from us and how we can brother up and help each other. So that's what's up. And they gave us more blessings on us doing this show, First Sky Omaha. So again, I want to give them a shout out and say thanks for allowing us to be on this land and to speak while we're here. I want to say thank you to our elders. You know, it's interesting. One of the young ones on the panel said, I want to thank my elders for allowing me to speak before them. I forgot that the indigenous brothers and sisters do that just as well as the black brothers and sisters do that. So
Mm.
that's what's up. I want to give a shout out and thanks to our elders for allowing us to speak before them as well. And I want to give a shout out to all the chat timers that allow us to speak with you. And I put a post out on my page the other day. I hope that I wasn't sounding too, wagging my finger at anybody in the chat. We do really have the best chat in the whole world. I really believe that, and I don't want to sound like I was trying to be scolding in the way in what I was talking about. Just want us to keep things cool and respectful, and that's really my whole thing. But everything I ever say comes from love of you, the chat chimers, love of all the friends of First Sky Omaha, and love for the city, man, love for everybody, love for the people, for the black community, for our community as a whole. So I just want to make sure that we continue to do the things that have allowed us to have these great conversations, which is to be respectful, so we can continue to have these kinds of things. And I did not mean to sound like I was trying to scold anyone in the process. So thanks for everybody that reached out to me and let me know that it was cool, that they took it for what it was, and it was all good. It's going to help us all to get better, including ourselves personally.
Mhm.
Did not leave myself out of that little speech I made last show. Definitely am going to try harder to make sure that I'm being respectful, even to people who I do not agree with and don't like in any kind of way. I could not like you and let you know I don't like you, but I still don't have to be disrespectful to you as a human to do that. I can just tell you flat out, I don't like you and don't agree with what you have to say. And have a nice day because stay alive and stay alive, bro. I don't want you to die. Just
Right.
just get out of my face. So there you
Just
go.
be loved.
Appreciate that. Gwen Easter said, "You said what needed to be said." Thank you, Miss Easter. I appreciate that. Rose Review says, "My mama scolded harder than that." Yeah, I hear you, brother.
The
Hey,
mayor.
hey, man, we're gonna have to hang out here, man, in a minute. We got to get
Man.
together. Got to get together off air and do some hanging. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here, man. It's 9:09 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, thanks for everybody that stayed later after the 9 o'clock hour for us. And love the fact that you guys are so engaged. Just can't
Man.
tell you enough how much we appreciate it. Meantime, between time, we'll see you Monday. Be safe this weekend. Stay warm this weekend. Check on your loved ones. Make sure that they're heated and kicked on, and all that good stuff, man. Somebody reminded me that our culture be turning the stove on and leave the door open a little bit and warming up the house that way. I'm gonna do some of that myself this weekend because I don't like the forced heat. Sometimes dries you out. But whatever you got to do, just stay safe, stay warm, and get your car together, get everything ready because I think the winter's coming and I think it's gonna come hard. Hard, hard, hard.
Mm.
So that's what's up. Linda in Chicago says, "Thanks for helping me always learn. Have a great weekend." Thank you, thank you, thank you. Michael Jefferson, which is a new name I haven't seen on YouTube, says, "Thank you. Appreciate you
Peace,
for
peace.
coming on in." Check us out on Monday. We'll be here same time, same place, 7 to 9, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is when we broadcast. For those of you who don't really know that, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is our usual broadcast time, 7 to 9. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter for the moment.
Yeah, that's 7 to 9 Central Time too, because I'm in Atlanta. So we got people that listening. You got to clarify. You got people listening to Vegas. We have a national audience, so we appreciate everybody who tunes in. Yeah, 7 to 9 Central Time. And until then,
Yep.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the Red